today we'll dive right into the world of business. Now, you agree with me that every business has a vision and they have a target audience in mind, and even a targeted amount of money they want to make, maybe monthly, quarterly, or yearly, as the case may be. Joining us today to discuss about his brand is Mr. Roy Clinton of ROY CLINTSON'S EXPRESSION, aka the Commissioner. Hi, Roy.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm good.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having
You look a
me.
bit tired, but don't worry, we'll ginger you up.
Is there any Nigerian that is not tired?
Okay, so I just, introduce you with your nickname, the Commissioner. Let's start from there. How did you come about that nickname?
The commissioner.
Roy the Commissioner.
The city gave it to me. Port Harcourt gave it to me.
Port Harcourt City.
Yes. So in the year 2017, I came across a movement called Port Harcourt Stability.
Okay.
And I tagged along. Then I just relocated to Port Harcourt, and I was trying to find my way in the city, especially in the entertainment space. So I saw the movement. I tagged along casually, and somehow I carried it on my head. And at that point, I saw people come online, bloggers and the rest of them. I wasn't a blogger. I'm not even a blogger, but I wasn't doing what I do now. I'm known for.
Okay.
I was more of a musician, an artist. So I had come back to continue my musical career. And then when I came back, I saw people complain, Port Harcourt, this, Port Harcourt, that, radio stations are not playing our songs, this, that. So I was like, okay, why is nobody talking about solutions? So what's the way forward? So when I saw the Port Harcourt Stability, I came across a few songs, and these songs were nice, but nobody's talking about the songs. So casually, being someone who, like, if I see something good, I just want people to come and see. Like, come see this thing. Or just like, is it Nathaniel in the Bible that called people to come and see Jesus and all of that? So that was how, from one post, it became two, became three, and it kept going.
Okay.
I got to talk about Prince Emmanuel, the rest of them, and all of that. So somehow, because I was doing something different, I started getting some kind of attention. So
and recognition of some sort.
Yeah. So become more like, okay, this guy is commissioning people, like commissioning things. So that was how
the name came about.
So yes, time goes on, it rebranded to Commissioner of Port Harcourt.
Oh, nice. Roy the Commissioner. Okay, so we know you are a photographer based in, the Garden City, River State, Nigeria. And you're the creative director of the ROY Clinton, I beg your pardon, expression. What would you say are the two biggest challenges in the industry, the photography industry in Port Harcourt?
Having access to the kind of equipment we want to behold, the kind of equipment we want to use, the kind of equipment we want to shoot with, and having the resources to purchase them.
Okay.
Then having clients that value what we do and are willing to pay for what we do.
Oh, okay.
This I say are the
so
major
clientele
challenges.
And equipment.
Yes. Now I'll say equipment because it's different in Lagos, because you know how shipping things to Nigeria is, everything have to come to Lagos first before spreading out. So Lagos people might get it cheaper. Now, if we want to get it now, we'll have to pay shipping it down to Lagos and then shipping it back to Port Harcourt. And the same way to this, we don't have photography equipment stores like that in Port Harcourt. The ones we have are just selling maybe minor,
not the major
equipment and all of that. We don't have access to props. We don't have access to a lot of things. So everything has to come through Lagos and all of that. So that is one big challenge.
So from what you've said, there's a market there.
Yeah, of course, there is a market, but it's rather unfortunate that I've seen people delve into photography. It's a booming business. And you see one man just maybe hit one money and be like, not true. Photographers are making money. Maybe patronize the studio and they charge him probably say 100,000 naira for 4 pictures. And be like, wow. And I have money. Let me go and open a studio. And he's not a photographer. He doesn't know anything about the business. So you go, opens a studio, put one photographer there and try to frustrate the photographer, because at the end of the day, since you are not a photographer, you want to expect magic overnight. You want to make millions overnight. Somehow you want to underpay the photographer as well. So you don't get the best, and before you know it, you're like, but imagine if you just take that money and invest somewhere else.
Into equipment,
We
into
have,
props.
so far, myself, I don't own equipment, I rent. And I don't feel
Okay.
bad about it. But then we don't have renters, shops and spaces like that. So there's one particular guy everybody patronizes in Port Harcourt. So by the time that guy runs out of equipment, you don't have any,
What happened?
what happens. So there's a market there. And there's also a market for props. There's a market for even phonographers, phone photographer, mobile
Okay.
photographers.
Okay.
They need gadgets. There's a market there. The world is going into content creation. There's a market for, but people are just, everybody wants to open a studio and
So if you are watching, see, photography is beyond having a studio.
exactly.
Invest in the other aspect, which is the equipment.
Even
You're
this
going to cash out.
podcast is a,
You will cash out big time. That's what Roy is saying. The long and short of it, you will cash out. All right, let's talk about your brand. The Roy Cleansing Expression brand. How long has the brand been on ground for? What motivated you, what inspired you to say, I want to do photography full time? I mean, you mentioned earlier that you were an artist at some point in your life. So tell us about
musical dropouts.
tell us about Roy's brand as a photographer.
Will I say I was born a photographer? I won't say, but everybody is a photographer actually. Because as long as you can see, you're a photographer.
You can
Photography,
capture.
you can capture. So, but for me, photography wasn't something I wanted to do. I started off with, growing up, it was all school for me. I was just indoor. I don't have friends. I hardly make friends. So it was just my books and myself and go to school. So my life, I envisioned my life growing up, just go to school, graduate, get a job, get married, give birth to kids. But somehow along the line, I kind of find myself while I was in school. A whole lot happened. That's why university is a university where you get to discover a whole lot. It's not just about going there to get grades. You actually discover a lot. So along the line, I find myself in church, started serving the media department and other departments. And along the line, one thing led to another. So I started as a theater actor. I had a theater crew.
Okay.
So along the line, I was like, okay, if I can act, I should be able to direct movies. So I started directing. Okay, if I can direct, I should be able to write stories. So I started with story writing. Then, okay, if I can write this story, I should be able to script, right? Let's script writing. Okay, let's start shooting now. Since I can do all of these things, that was how I started shooting. Okay, if I should shoot these movies, I should be able to design the graphics for my posters. So everything
So everything started in church
one of
for
the
you.
art, yes, one of the art gave birth to the next and all of that. So
you just pick up every skill.
every skill and all, everything now. And that's why my photography is a combination of all these elements together. You will find graphics inside, you will find everything.
So it's just beyond you taking pictures, editing them.
Yes.
It's all
And that's I
encompassing.
can tell stories easily because of the acting and everything. So before I take that shot, I already have like a mental picture of the kind of story I want to tell.
Amazing. And how long has the brand been on ground for?
The brand officially started last year, February.
Okay.
Yes, before now I was working for somebody.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so I parted ways. That was in January 2024.
Okay.
And I kicked off ROY CLINTSON'S EXPRESSION officially in February.
Way to go, actor boy. Nice. Okay, so since we're looking forward to celebrating your brand next month, starting from tomorrow, 1 year, right?
Yes, 1 year.
Amazing. So would you say you had like a target in mind when you started for last year, for 2024, and were you able to achieve that target? Maybe client-wise and money-wise.
Okay, for me, starting off last year was for visibility. So I was very intentional last year.
Okay.
I didn't start off last year to make money.
Okay.
I just wanted to be visible, the brand to be visible. Yes, Roy Clinton is a bit visible, but Roy Clinton's expression need to. There are two different brands,
Okay.
and since I just left my former place, and I left without one single client from the studio,
Okay.
so I had to build my own clientele.
From
So
scratch.
from scratch, everything from scratch. And aside that, I had some busy, some debts from an experience I had, a very funny one, where I was robbed, so I needed money to clear all those debts. So I left my place with nothing, no equipment, no clients, no with a whole lot of debts that ran into millions and all of that. So I was able to clear off those debts. I ended the year debt free.
Mm-hmm.
I had enough clients and I
Mm-hmm.
have enough content. Like I have content that I can post for 5 years. That can last me for 5 years because I was
Hey.
very intentional last year. I did over
How many
over
shoots in total? On the average, give us a
I would
range.
say over 200 events
Ah.
and I created over 10,000 images. So
Roy has money, people.
no, no.
Roy has money, but really, that's amazing. In the space of 1 year, that's so much. That's so much. And like you said, you were intentional about it, and that's
Yes,
how you
very,
were
very
able. So,
intentional.
your biggest achievement from all you said is the fact that you were able to put the brand out there for visibility.
Yes, for last year. So
Okay,
this year we make money.
we'll make money. Praise God. Okay, moving on. What would you say is the amazing thing about your brand or your business per se? What's the most amazing thing about being a photographer? Just one thing. I know it's a lot, it's a list.
The amazing thing of being a photographer for me personally is seeing the world differently.
Okay.
Seeing the world for how beautiful the world is. That is it. So we are in this room right now. You can see me, I can see you. But the person over there sees us differently. The lightning, the smiles, the moment, and everything. That is everything.
Okay.
Capturing and freezing that special moment.
Okay. So saying the word from the eyes of a photographer.
Exactly.
Amazing. All right, let's talk about the elephant in the room. When it comes to photography, I know how people can get, especially with the pricing. And like,
Oh,
just 2 pictures. So let's know. When you started, you said, your target last year was visibility. But at the same time, it's not like you were going to events and doing free events for people.
I did a few free ones,
Okay, okay.
and I did some that were actually free.
Like there was nothing in return as value.
Of course,
Like maybe a trade by barter situation.
there always a value. For
Okay.
me, I'm very intentional about even if I'm doing something for free. You may not see the value I'm getting, but I know the value I'm getting.
Okay.
The value could be the content I'm getting from the event, so
Alright.
that's enough value.
Okay. Okay. So when it comes to your pricing, have you had customers complain when you give them your price list, your rate card per se? And have you been in a situation where you needed to adjust your price, maybe increase or reduce? How were you able to handle that?
I think every Nigerian doing business in this current economy will actually be going through the issue of pricing and all of that. But for photography, and as I got to know that prices differs. Yeah. So I can walk into a studio and you get 5 pictures for 5,000 naira. And you walk to another studio and they tell you 4 pictures for 200,000 naira. It's not about the picture.
Okay.
It's about the who takes the picture. Right. So there's a feeling there's a reason why people will travel to Abuja to get big H, photograph them. And there's a reason why people want to fly a TY Bello to Port Harcourt to capture their moment. It's not about the picture.
So it's the person behind the lens.
Exactly. So, and that's why, like I said, I've been very, very intentional building my brand. So there's a Roy Clinton behind the camera. So, like one question I ask myself every day when I wake up is, You're not the only photographer. You're not even like the best photographer. If I'm to be very honest to myself, I don't think I'll even make the top 10 photographers in Port Harcourt. So why should they book you? Why should they pay you? Not only book you, why should
What's
they
the
pay
special
you? What is the
effect?
special effect? So I come to find out that there is more. It's not about the photographer. It's about the photographer, what the photographer gives, the story you tell, how you make people feel.
Okay.
So
Interesting. Interesting. I've learned something. I mean, it's not about the pictures, but the personality. Okay.
exactly.
All right. Because of time, we'll just wrap this up real quick with these last two questions I'm about to ask you. So, first off, you mentioned that you used to work for someone and then you guys, had your issues and you went your separate ways. What would you say was one lesson you learned from that experience, especially to people watching, especially youth who want to dive into photography as a career full time?
All right. There were no issues actually.
Okay.
It was just time to go.
Okay.
And my boss, I won't call her a former boss. My boss, she's still my boss.
All right.
She was like, Roy, I will feel very disappointed if you leave this place and go to work in another studio. I will want to see you start up your own. So like I said, everything, my journey has been an intentional one. A one filled with grace, though. Yeah, God's grace has always been there, but I've also been very, very intentional. So when I came back from school after working in the church, I feel like, okay, I think photography stand out among all of these things I do, and it like comprises of all of them. So I went to a photo studio
Okay.
in Port Harcourt here and registered to learn, to be mentored. So I did a 1 year apprenticeship. After the 1 year, I still served for another 1 year. So when I was done, my boss took me to another studio that was just starting up. If a studio that was just starting up, they've not started, like you've not opened, and said, go and work there. I felt bad. I was like, boss, if you allow me work under you now, why? He said, just go and work there. And that's how I started. So I started on the first day of October 2020. That was when I started working there. Started buying equipment. Our first client came. I shot, had issues with lightning, editing, struggled, went through all of that stress. Had to start arranging price lists, rules, regulations, like building a company from scratch. So I went through all of that for 3 years. The studio grew from 1 room to a 5 room apartment. Clientele grew from a 500 to 1,000 to snapping for, like, it grew. So what I learned there was growth. I had to start up. That's why it's easy for me to start up ROY CLINTSON'S EXPRESSION.
Because
And
you've been there, you've done
I've
that.
done all of that. So what I would advise anybody want to start up something. Guy, I know people just want to freestyle this year. People want to be freelancers. People want to be bosses on their own. But the truth is, go and serve somebody. Go and learn.
Okay.
You will not just learn the skill. It's one thing to learn the skill. It's another thing to learn the business. There's a business side of photography that goes beyond just knowing how to take good pictures. Go and learn the business. Go and serve. You will learn management. You will learn how to manage clients. You will learn how to manage time. Because when you're working under somebody in his photo studio, somebody walks into the studio, take a picture, and the person needs a picture tomorrow. You don't have any excuse to go and sleep. You have to deliver the picture.
Okay.
And that has been the reason why they say, Roy, they deliver fast, Roy deliver. It's because I went through training. There are times you don't feel like working, but you have to go to work because you are working under somebody. So go and learn, go and serve.
You heard it from Roy's mouth. Go and learn. You're gonna learn if you don't learn. Have you?
You learn the hard way.
Okay, so finally, as we wrap this up, what are you hoping to achieve with your brand this year,
One
2025?
thing I want to achieve, like I said, last year was all about visibility. This year I want to make money.
Okay.
And I want to see the brand just grow.
Is the money here?
Exactly, it's a
It's the
1 year.
1 year. All right, Roy. Thank you so much for coming on the Triple F podcast. I'm very certain that all that you have said, your story, would definitely inspire someone out there, whether they're looking to go into photography or any other, industry per se. Thank you so much.
Thank
We
you.
can't wait to have you back at the end of the year, and ask you how far the 1 year did we hit that target.
Amen.
Yeah, and to you watching, do well to subscribe, like, drop a review, and share with your friends and loved ones. I will see you on the next episode. Bye.
Thank you.